A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a dramatic display of public dissent, thousands of demonstrators, including members of the Roman Catholic clergy, gathered in the heart of Manila on Sunday, November 30th, 2025, to demand the swift prosecution of top legislators and government officials implicated in a widespread corruption scandal. The protests come in the wake of allegations surrounding substandard flood control projects that have put the lives of countless Filipinos at risk, particularly in an archipelago prone to extreme weather and flooding. The protests, organized by a coalition of left-wing groups and supported by the Catholic Church, saw participants donning white attire as a symbol of peace and unity against corruption. The main rally took place at the historic People Power Monument along EDSA Highway, a site synonymous with the fight for democracy in the Philippines. Police estimates suggest that around 5,000 demonstrators participated in the rally, which was marked by chants and slogans calling for immediate accountability from those in power. In a country where public trust in government has been severely eroded by corruption scandals, the demonstrators expressed their frustration over the government's failure to address the issues at hand. Protesters carried banners and shouted slogans demanding that implicated officials resign and face prosecution. One particularly striking message from a protester read, "No mercy for the greedy." Reverend Flavie Villanueva, a Catholic priest who has been vocal against corruption and injustice, addressed the crowd, emphasizing the moral implications of the corruption scandal. If money is stolen, that's a crime. But if dignity and lives are taken away, these are sins against fellow human beings, against the country, but, most importantly, against God, Villanueva stated, urging the crowd to call for justice. His words resonated deeply as he called for the imprisonment of both corrupt officials and those responsible for extrajudicial killings that occurred during the previous administration. The backdrop to these protests is a series of alarming revelations about the misuse of public funds, particularly in relation to flood control projects that have been plagued by allegations of graft and corruption. Since President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. first raised concerns about these anomalies during his State of the Nation address in July, several public works officers have already been jailed. The government is actively pursuing executives from SunWest Corporation, a construction firm linked to these projects, as investigations continue to unfold. As tensions escalated, over 17,000 police officers were deployed across metropolitan Manila to maintain order. The Malacanang Presidential Palace was placed under lockdown, with anti-riot police and barricades blocking key access points. This heavy police presence reflects the government's apprehension about the potential for unrest amid growing public dissatisfaction. In a nation where democratic governance has been historically fragile, the protests also raised concerns about military involvement in politics. Calls for the armed forces of the Philippines to withdraw support from the Marcos administration have emerged, but military leaders have firmly rejected such notions. A statement released by 88 retired generals, including former military chiefs of staff, condemned any calls for unconstitutional actions, reaffirming the military's commitment to stability and democracy in the country. Despite the government's efforts to quell the unrest, the protests signal a significant moment in the Philippines' political landscape. With President Marcos pledging that many of the implicated officials, including senators and wealthy construction executives, would be jailed by Christmas, the public remains skeptical. Demonstrators are demanding immediate action, insisting that those responsible for stealing government funds and enriching themselves at the expense of the public must face justice without delay. As the situation continues to develop, the protests reflect a broader demand for accountability and transparency in governance. The people of the Philippines are making their voices heard, united in their call for an end to corruption and the restoration of trust in their leaders. The outcome of these protests could have lasting implications for the political climate in the Philippines, as citizens seek to reclaim their democracy from the clutches of corruption and mismanagement. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.